Today I'll be going over an Icicle Mine's leveling POB. This path of building will bring you smoothly through the campaign and into your clusters. We level as Poisonous Concoction, and we switch to Icicle Mines around level 50-ish in Act 6, when we get access to support gems from Lily. So straight off the bat, you want to go for this strength node. This will allow you to shield charge. Alternatively, you can go for Primal Spirit down here, but I didn't see the need for it and wanted to save the points. However, you could respec out of it later for gold pretty cheaply. The skill that I used for level was Poisonous Concoction. That's why we're taking this flask wheel and the flask nodes right here. And then we take the health nodes and the HP nodes because they're pretty efficient. When it comes to Act 2, we keep pathing north and take some of the chaos nodes on the way to help with our leveling skill. You can use any leveling skill you want to. Your beginning tree will just look different. And the entire point of this is to set our tree up for an efficient switch to mines. Keep going to Act 3, we just take the chaos dot wheel and more chaos damage. The chaos dot wheel right here, more chaos damage right here. And we just keep pathing north. You're probably running 3 health flasks at this point, a Quicksilver and a mana flask. When it comes to Ascendancy, we're going to choose Gathering Winds first. This helps you in the campaign with movement speed. Or just rather going faster, no movement speed. In Act 4, it's the same thing. We're just pathing north and we're trying to set our tree up to switch to mines. Taking the chaos nodes just to help with our leveling skill. Act 5 will be the last act before we switch. Just taking the pathing nodes and some more nodes to help with Pconc. Once again, you can play any skill you want. I just chose Pconc because right now when I wrote this guide, it's pretty strong. Looking at Act 6, it's the same thing. We're just pathing a little bit more south here and taking some accuracy nodes to help with Pconc before we switch. Now here is where you want to switch to mines. Right after Act 6, and after you've done the Lily quest, that's when we get access to Minefield support. Now you can see we disconnect the tree right here and we lose the strength node, so make sure you don't have any strength requirements. And then we connect the tree east. This way we get access to Revenge of the Hunted later on. Up here you can see we take the mine nodes and the mine wheel. We take the crit multiplier wheel here along with the crit multi-mastery. We take the mine damage here along with the mine damage mastery. And we take the cold wheel here along with the inverted mastery. Now here's where we want to start filling out the tree. In the middle here, we want these nodes, Saboteur. You should be able to do more than half of the respec gold and cost around this time in the campaign. And you should have a couple refund points from quests in the campaign to be able to do this switch. Then we go to Act 8. From there, we start filling out nodes. Down south, we take chain because we're going to get a chain from the lab. We do spec out of Ricochet later, so I just want to note that. In case you want to go for Far Shot, it's completely acceptable as well for your second lab. In that case, just go Pierce immediately with projectile speed. But I go chain first and then spec into Pierce a little bit later. And we take the health nodes down here as well. In Act 9, 9-ish down here, you'll be taking a Flash Freeze. This will just help out in a campaign and early maps. Looking really far north of the tree. In Act 10-ish, we look to take Winter's Embrace and Efficient Explosives. Winter's Embrace. Efficient Explosives is just a good node in general, and Winter's Embrace we'll spec out of later, but it'll help us with damage in campaign and early maps. Down south, we start filling out the tree, such as taking the extra power charge, the extra frenzy charge, and the jewel socket. When it comes to the jewels, look for crit multi, lots of it. We take the crit wheel down here as well, along with the other extra frenzy charge. And then you start filling out the suppression wheels. Take Inveterate, take Lucky for your mastery, get Revenge of the Hunted. And along with these nodes here, Intuition, Quick Step, there's another tree up here north called the Instinct for Suppress. Now here's when you'll be wanting to switch to clusters, looking for some player power. You're looking to start off with 4 to 5 passive medium clusters. It doesn't matter what's on them, as long as you're getting Guerrilla Tactics and Surprise Sabotage is a 1 in 7 using the Crit, Reforge, and Harvest. So you can see Guerrilla Tactics, Surprise Sabotage, it doesn't really matter what's on them, as long as they're 4 to 5 passives. This gives you access to the jewel slot without a travel node, and saves you a skill point. If you can't get a 4 to 5 passive right off the bat, that's fine. You can get a 6 passive, just don't spend a lot on it, reforging it. And once again, you can use the Reforge Crit option. It's a 1 in 7 to get Guerrilla Tactics to Rise Sabotage. In my experience, it's like a 1 in 4. Like it's really, really common. When it comes to the jewels, once again, you're looking for Crit Multi. Crit Multi with Cold skills, Crit Multi with Elemental skills, Global Crit Multi, anything that benefits the build. When it comes to the large clusters, I do want to point out that you can get notables on the inside, double notables on the inside, but for multiple reasons I didn't include them in the build. 1, they're probably not going to exist on day 1. 2, they're going to be very expensive if they do. And 3, like the exact specific one that you're looking for, like it just probably won't exist on day 1. So you're just looking for large cold clusters, and you're looking for Blanketed Snow and Flash Freeze for the notables on the inside. Blanketed Snow penetrates 10% resistance, and Flash Freeze is your freeze spreads to enemies within 1 meter. So that's useful for mapping. Blanketed Snows for bossing. I do want to point out that this has a double large cluster setup. This is really only for bossing and you're dual wielding at this point. When you're doing mapping, you just want to run 1 large cluster and have a shield. Otherwise, you just will be like a wet noodle. You'll be killing everything immediately, but if you get hit once, you'll just die. I'd rather have a shield and 1 large cluster, all mapping, because then you can spec into these points again and get more suppression. Spec into these. And this node right here. You lose a lot going double large clusters, but it's worth it for bossing. It's very easy. You do a lot of damage. Now when it comes to ascendancies, once again we spec out of chain and we go pierce. When you do that, make sure to switch to pierce in the tree as well. And then we switch to far shot and then go to endless munitions. When it comes to your 4th one, I just chose focal point. You can choose anything you want. You could go for the extra frenzy charge if you wanted to. Like, it doesn't really matter. You could go for chain as well. Maybe spec into chain. It's completely up to you. Now when it comes to anything after this, that's not really a league start, but this will carry you through the campaign, and yeah, this should be like your day 1 setup pretty much. Maybe like day 2. Like I said, like the large clusters just might not exist, but if they don't exist, you can just grab a cold cluster and spam cold reforge on it, and that can give you blanketed snow flash freeze pretty commonly. The POB will be in the comments. Make sure you have charisma early on too. Maybe I forgot that. Charisma is pretty important to be able to run your auras. So when it comes to the rest of the POB, in our notes section here, we have a vendor regex at the top. We just have some notes for the campaign. We have like some ideal upgrades maybe that you're looking for after your clusters. And then we have some trade searches. So the trade searches, you can actually highlight this and import it, and it'll import a folder for trade searches for stuff like Bitter Dream, Heat Shiver, your clusters, maybe like a crit multi-jewel, and just like random resistance items that you're going to be wearing. When it comes to skills, we have a loadout for Act 1 and Act 6, and then I have one from a random SSF run that I did. That's like a realistic loadout. It's the same thing for the items. We have one for Act 1, Act 6, and then like a random SSF run that I did. So that's like maybe after like 1 day played, that's like what you look at. That's like a realistic, like what your gear could look like. When it comes to the configuration, I didn't do anything. I just clicked enemies are chilled, and we have frenzy charges. That's it. So if you're looking for like some crazy POB numbers, like I don't I don't really know what to do, to be honest. But I've done this run through about like 4 to 5 times. It's incredibly smooth. Once again, if Pconc gets nerfed, just use another skill like Cobra Lash or something. It's not a big deal.